Hello and welcome to the next installment of speedrunning quests in old school RuneScape. This is my speedrun for Dragon Slayer 1. This was my third attempt at the quest. I was attempting really the gold time here rather than the platinum. I'm trying to unlock my adventurer outfit, the graceful recolor, and I only need a few more gold times rather than a platinum time. This quest can be very difficult to get the platinum time because the fight with Elvarg is extremely RNG dependent, and we'll see throughout this run that I am indeed a bot, and my clicks and my forgetfulness is perhaps my biggest Achilles heel. However, we start by teleporting to Soul Wars, which is simply a nice way to get to Edgeville. We run to the general store in Edgeville to grab a bucket, knife and hammer, and then we can talk to Osrs and ask about a Rune Platebody. He'll basically tell us to, as a quest, slay the Dragon of Crandor. We say, yeah, we can do that, champion. Bring it on. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll fill up our bucket at the well in Edgeville. We'll need that to wet clay later on. And we'll need our clay to fire into an unfired bowl. We'll use the wilderness lever to go to the wilderness because we'll need runes to teleport around. Wouldn't it be hilarious if you were doing a speed run and someone PK'd you? Thankfully, the speedrunning worlds are the emptiest worlds in old school RuneScape, and so there's no PKing at all to be done. I actually got through the web on the first try in both of my first runs, so I kind of forgot that I would have to spam click it there, but we get through eventually, pull the lever. And once we get into the Mage Bank, we want to trade with Lundale. You'll see why we need all of those later on. The first thing we're going to do is teleport to Varrock and run straight to Thessalia's clothes shop to buy some silk. We'll need that later on to get one of our map pieces. From here, we'll run down to the iconic Varrock sword shop to be taking the weapon that we will take down Elvarg with, the adamant sword. The adamant sword and the adamant longsword were the first weapons I ever bought where I thought, yeah, you know what, I've made it in old school RuneScape, this is awesome. Back then I guess it wasn't old school RuneScape, that was way back in the day when I was a young'un. Here we run back down to the Champions Guild and talk to the Guildmaster again. Of course I misclick and ask him, what is this place, even though I've been there before, you absolute fool. We tell him that Osrs has said for us to defeat the Dragon of Crandor. We go through a lot of text, simply holding that spacebar down. But then we ask how we get to Crandor, where we find these map pieces to get there, and how we're going to protect ourselves from Dragon Breath. Now that we know where to get an anti-Dragonfire shield, we teleport to Lumbridge in order to talk to Duke Horatio. But first we have to take the normally taboo north staircase in the castle. We take that because we are going to need these logs here that will turn into planks at the Varrock sawmill in order to repair the boat that we're going to buy to take to Crandor. We go back downstairs now and talk to Duke. After making sure that we are ready to take on Elvarg, he gives us an anti-Dragonfire shield. And from here we can teleport to Varrock yet again. Drop some unneeded items, and we'll trade Horvik and get our armor that we'll use to take on Elvarg, the studded body and studded chaps. And we'll run east and then north to the sawmill. At the sawmill, we'll turn our 3 logs into planks, and we will buy 50 steel nails, as that will be needed to fix our ship. From here, I start to run south because I'm a fool and I forgot what I was doing, but instead we teleport to Falador. First go to the Rising Sun Inn, making sure we have a space in our inventory. Again, I am a bot, so I eat a quick lobby and then buy a Wizard Mind Bomb. Next we'll run over to the Estate Agent and buy ourselves a house for 1000 GP. It's a clever trick because that will allow us to teleport to Rimington. So we buy a house there, then we can teleport outside of our house, of course. Rimington near Port Sarim, near a mine that we use later, but the first place we're going is to Melzar's Maze, this building just to the northwest here. Using our maze key, we enter the maze, and we find a rat with a long curved tail. For a red key, and we open the northernmost red door, where then we go upstairs to find a ghost. We want one that does not have a cloak and has a darker face. And we can use the Crumble Undead spell on it. Throughout this run, I get pretty terrible Crumble Undead RNG. You'll see hitting some single digits on this ghost here. Pretty shocking. But we obtain the key and go through the second northernmost door, up the ladder, and we cast Crumble Undead on the skeleton with the round shield. I, again, am a bot, so it took me a little bit to find it. But we splash on that skeleton a ridiculous number of times. 0, splash, splash, 0, splash. Ah, it was shocking. Crumble Undead my ass. So finally hit some numbers on it and kill it to obtain another key. That key will open the westernmost door. We will run south and around to the ladder and go down 3 sets of them. Once we are down in the basement, we use Crumble Undead again on one of these zombies. I was typically attacking the northernmost zombie when I got down into the room, and in my 3 runs, all 3 of them were the one that dropped the blue key, though I think it can vary. But we take that blue key and we unlock the door in order to take on Melzar themselves, Melzar the Mad. It's a pretty easy fight. You can pray flick magic if you would like. The only thing to keep in mind is to re-attack Melzar when Melzar uses the bind spell, as that will stop your character from attacking them. But once Melzar is dead, we take the purple key and we go through this door and start to cast Water Blast on the lesser demon. This is where my first run ended, as I hit so poorly with my Water Blast that I actually used all of my death runes, and then I had to use my remaining Chaos runes to take down the demon. So because I used all my runes, when I went to attack Wormbrain, the goblin that is in the Port Sarim jail, I had no runes left, and so I could not kill them in time. So hopefully you get better RNG than I did in that. Once we get the map piece, we teleport to Rimington. Obviously outside of your house, not inside like me, but again, I'm a bot. We take the bronze pickaxe and we run north to the Rimington mine. And these most eastern rocks are clay, for which we need one of those. Once we have our clay, we run east, keep going on to Port Sarim. We can use our clay on our bucket of water to obtain our soft clay, allowing us to drop our bucket. We can drop our pickaxe too, we don't need those. And we can talk to Geraint in the fishing store. They can sell us a lobster pot, which we'll need to obtain a map piece later on. Here you can see is where you need remaining runes to kill this goblin Wormbrain that is in the Port Sarim jail. So we kill them and use telekinetic grab to grab the map part. Now we have 2 map parts with 1 remaining. While we're in Port Sarim, we go and talk to Clarence because we want to buy this beautiful ship for 2,000 gold. She's not looking so beautiful right now as there is a big hole in the bottom hull, so we can climb down into that and repair using the planks, nails and hammer that we've purchased so far. Once that's repaired as well, we can teleport out and go to Lumbridge. Because in Lumbridge we can use the trick to talk to Count Check and get a one-time teleport to Barbarian Village. Now when you get to Barbarian Village, this is when you're going to want to run to the Potter's Wheel just below and make your unfired bowl from your soft clay. However, I start running north towards Ice Mountain to talk to the Oracle, which is the next step after that. You'll see once I get onto Ice Mountain, I start furiously clicking my soft clay, as indeed I have remembered that I meant to do that and realised that I am again a bot. But you talk to the Oracle here and the Oracle will tell us about where we need to find a map piece to go to Crandor that is in Dwarven Mine. But there we go, we now have an unfired bowl, and we run back to the Dwarven Mine. You climb down this trapdoor into Dwarven Mine and run east, not the closest room, the one behind it, where we will see a magic door. That is where we use our 4 items on it. Once inside, we can simply open the chest and make sure we search it to obtain our 3rd and final map piece. From here we teleport out to Lumbridge, where we can start running west to Draenor Village. So you give the map to Ned, say you'll meet them over at Port Sarim, and before you go I do recommend going to the bank and withdrawing some lobsters, as you'll need a fair amount of food for the Elvarg fight. Here is yet another example of why I'm a bot. Instead of simply teleporting to Rimington and running east to Port Sarim, I try to use the agility shortcut, forgetting that you need 42 agility instead of 40. So I run around, but at least I am shortly after calmed by the soothing sounds of Sea Shanty 2. What an absolute banger. Okay, we run back to where we bought the boat from Clarence before, and we cross the gangplank onto the Lady Lumbridge, where our captain Ned is waiting for us, and we set sail for Crandor. And we enter into one of the most iconic cutscenes in Runescape history. So many years ahead of its time. Elvarg attacks our boat, and unfortunately here is when we say goodbye to Cabin Boy Jenkins. Is Cabin Boy Jenkins the first NPC to die in a quest? I would guess so. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Use Protect from melee to get past the Moss Giants and the Lesser Demons. It's not good taking any extra damage, as the fight with Elvarg will be a tough one. Elvarg, at least for me in my testing, was maxing 10 damage on me, so I was simply attacking until I got to, just around 10 HP. When I got inside the range where she could kill me in one shot, I would run underneath her, hence why my cursor is hovered under the walk here part of Elvarg's arse. Once you run underneath Elvarg, you can pound a couple lobbies, come back out and start poking her again with our adamant sword. Make sure auto retaliate is off, obviously, otherwise you will path back out into Elvarg's melee range. Elvarg attacking with melee is desirable, and does a fair bit of damage with the magic and dragonfire attacks. As you can see here, we do get a bit creamed here and there, and this fight is extremely RNG dependent. Yet another reason why I went with the gold time instead of the platinum time. Looking at the time as well, from here you would think that I have absolutely yonks of time to get back and get the gold time at 22 minutes. However, it takes about 1 minute and 10 seconds to run from Falador, where we teleport to after the fight, all the way back to Osiak in Edgeville. Essentially, when you finish off Elvarg, you want to teleport to Falador straight away before the animation of you pulling off the head starts, as you could save a little bit of time there and you still get credited the kill for Elvarg. Got pretty close in the end, but we ended up finishing off Elvarg. But of course, because I'm a bot, I missed the clicks to teleport to Falador. But at least we get to see the iconic animation of pulling off Elvarg's head. We are indeed a legend. So you can see the time at the top left there was about 20 minutes and 45 seconds when I pulled off the head and we were able to teleport. You'll see it takes a fair while to run back to Edgeville. If you'd like to absolutely optimize your run, you can check pathing and things like that using plugins, but I think running next to the monastery is the quickest way. We get to Osiak with enough time, and I secure myself the gold speedrun time, bringing us ever closer to my adventurer's outfit, the recolor of Graceful. Very chuffed with myself after a couple of tries, turn on my mic, and this is all I could muster.